Alright, I'm back here with the second part on the Miz winning, basically on my response to Miz winning the championship and why I feel it's evaluation time. Now, like I said, Jack Swagger failed his evaluation earlier this year by only having basically a 2-month, maybe a month and a half reign, if you will, as champion, because like I said, you can go online, Google it, look it up, all you want. It will show that even the WWE Brass themselves felt as though Jack Swagger wasn't ready yet, and they had made a mistake by letting him become champion. Now what about Kane? Kane cashed in Money in the Bank on the same night of the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And he's held the title ever since then, which has been basically about July to now. Now, the reason Kane's held on to it is, one, he is an established veteran. Two, this may be his final reign as a champion, and he's possibly in his last years. So what better way to let Kane go out if these are his last years than to be on top? And also, if there was an evaluation test for Kane, I can say this, right off the bat, Kane passed it, even way before he won Money in the Bank. So, that's why Kane cashed it in that night, because he had already passed the evaluation test even before that. And he proved that he was ready for a long-term reign. Now, what does that say for The Miz? The Miz waited for a few months. He waited from July, August, September, October to now. Almost 4.5 months he waited till he finally cashed in. Now, what does that say for The Miz? What does that say for how The Miz is going to do on his evaluation? Well, Miz has got a lot of supporters. I will say that, whether you like to admit it or not. Miz has a lot of supporters. But what does that say for him? Well, he does get some decent white heat, as they call it, decent heat from the crowd. I mean, every time he says he's The Miz and he's awesome, instead of them saying he's awesome, they say he's awful. And when you have a crowd kind of paraphrasing one of your quotes or one of your sayings, then that shows you you have a decent amount of heat. But now let's go on to what one of the people that Pacify is subscribed to, and someone I actually subscribe to as well, Gold Dizzy. Gold Dizzy said in one of his video that even though he enjoyed Miz cashing in, he feels as though Miz isn't ready yet. How can you say Miz is not ready? Well, let's take a look at it. Yes, Miz, as Pacify puts out, doesn't have the best win-loss record, in the WWE this year. He doesn't. I mean, for 2 pay-per-views in a row, he's tapped out to Daniel Bryan. That's true. That is true. And twice this year, he has lost the United States title. First time was to R-Truth. Second time was to Daniel Bryan. Now, despite that, a lot of people have said that he's never really, when he was U.S. champion, never really defended that title. That's what you don't know. On television, he may have not really defended that title, but at live events, he may have. So you got to count those. But now here's the question. Now that he's the WWE champion, even despite his win-loss record not being the best, and despite, like you said, and despite the fact that, he captained a losing Raw team at Bragging Rights, despite the fact that he wasn't on the Survivor Series pay-per-view, and despite the fact that he wasn't on the SummerSlam pay-per-view, well, he was, but he didn't participate, even though he was about to. The question is, he ready? Well, let's take a look at it this way. Miz is like Edge in some ways. He is. See, when Edge became champion, yeah, his title reign was his first title reign, like I said, was only for 2 weeks. But when he finally reestablished and reproved himself, and proved himself once again that he was ready for a second chance, and he got that second opportunity as champion, how long did his title reign last? A lot longer, right? And who was always there to help him? Lita. Lita was there. Think of it this way. Every time someone like Edge has been champion, he's always had somebody in his corner making sure he kept the title. Now, when Edge was world champion on SmackDown, Vicky Guerrero, also the general manager at the time, always made sure there was some way to keep the title around Edge. Think about it. Even when CM Punk went heel, became a heel, and he had someone like Serena and Luke Gallows on his side during his last maybe few weeks or month as champion, what happened? They would always help him retain the title in some way. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Oh, I know what you people are saying. You're saying, well, Brian, you just talked about a lot of these Money in the Bank winners, but you're forgetting one. Rob Van Dam. Well, before I go on, okay, let me stop with The Miz and let me talk about Rob right here. Yes, Rob won Money in the Bank. Yes, he won the title at One Night Stand in 2006. Yes, he did do that. But because of the situation that he and Sabu got into, what happened? They stripped him of they took the title away from him because Rob, despite the fact that he was way over, again, like Swagger and like Edge in his first 2 weeks, or probably within the first week or so, failed the evaluation test of being the guy that's going to carry the company. That's what happened. So, again, getting back to The Miz, will he do what very few have done? Will he do what CM Punk has, what only I believe CM Punk has done so far? Will he prove what CM Punk and Kane have proven already? Will he prove that he is ready to carry this company? Will he prove that he is ready to be the main event, one of the franchise players, one of the faces of the WWE? Will he finally prove that? Will he pass the evaluation test? Well, quite honestly, in my opinion, I think he's going to. Yeah. Out of respect for the fact that The Miz, excuse me for a second, out of respect for the fact that The Miz has come from where he has been, I truly believe, out of respect, not as a huge misfit fan, but just as a fan that respects The Miz and where he came from, and respects how he's evolved in character, and as well as in in-ring mic skills and promos and even abilities. As someone that respects how far he's come, I truly believe Miz is going to pass this evaluation. I truly do. He's going to join CM Punk and Kane as the only superstars that are going to have decent title reigns with the WWE Championship or the World Championship. I truly believe that. I truly believe that. I truly believe that's what's going to happen. Now some of you may say, well, yeah, that may happen, but what if he loses at TLC? Well, let me explain something. If he loses at TLC, then basically what that means is he's either failed the evaluation, or storyline-wise, it's going to show him being like Edge, being a weak champion, someone that wasn't ready, storyline-wise. But I believe he's going to pass it. And I believe WWE, if they're smart enough, are going to keep the title on The Miz until maybe at least Elimination Chamber, perhaps WrestleMania. Because think about it this way. If they keep the title on The Miz until WrestleMania, imagine who his opponent could be. I've said this in many of my videos, and I'll say it again. The Royal Rumble is in 2 months. And I believe one of the top contenders, one of the top finalists, in my opinion, to win that Rumble is Daniel Bryan. Think about it. 1 year in the making. Daniel Bryan versus The Miz for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. It could happen. Think about it. And if that doesn't say probably moneymaker for WrestleMania, I don't know what does. But if I'm WWE and I'm smart enough, that's how long I keep the title on The Miz, if he passes the evaluation. Now, if he doesn't pass the evaluation, then I can understand them taking it off him maybe at TLC, maybe at the Royal Rumble. I can understand that. I can understand it. And maybe even taking it off of him at Elimination Chamber. But I can understand if they take it off of him at TLC or the Rumble because he didn't pass the evaluation. But here's the ultimate question, my friends. And let me check my time here again. But here's the ultimate question. Do you, as fans, whether you like The Miz or not, whether you agree with the way he won the title last night or not, do you think he's going to have a decent title reign? Do you think he's going to pass the evaluation? Because there have even been those that, without the Money in the Bank, without being Money in the Bank winners, have had that quick push to the top. Names like Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar proved right off the bat that he was ready. Guys like Sheamus, who had his evaluation test but failed it because he lost the top, but failed it within 2 months. And that was proven when he lost at Elimination Chamber, but he was given